We are going to do a Pathways Q&A. I will answer your questions, but before we do that, I want to introduce a few things that I use or the ways I approach it, which I find helpful in the hopes that maybe it'll answer some of your questions even before you ask them. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to have to log back in to the TI website. Oh,
No.
well, it'll take me a moment. I'm already logged in. Great. So when you log into the TI website, you should see something like this, only with you, not me. And here in your very first box that you can select is Basecamp. So I'm going to click on Basecamp. Now, if you're a new member, you will probably only see one path. You're going to see a bunch of stuff here because I've been doing this for a little while. So on the top, these are the active paths. I am working on engaging humor. I am working on presentation mastery. I am just about done with my visionary communicator. I have one speech to give, and then I can close it out. Um, the story collection and the Pathways Mentor, I'll talk about in a second. If I scroll down, these are the things I've completed. I completed a presentation mastery path, an engaging humor path. I'm working on my second engaging humor. And there's also a club coach path. It's only 3 items. It's only three exercises. So, but if you want to become a club coach, you have to go do that. Um, the Pathways Mentoring Program. If you complete level 2 of a Pathways Mentoring Program suddenly becomes available to you. So if you want, so that you can take it and learn how to be a mentor. And the story collection actually comes out of, I believe, the engaging humor path, or in probably a few other paths as well. If you get into one of the exercises that's all about building stories, that it's not a path, it's a tool, but it becomes available to you. But anyway, this is when I clicked on Basecamp, this is what comes up for me. For you, it may just be one path, it may be 2 paths. Before we move off this page, you notice there are tabs up here. Pathways Learning, Achievements, Feedback, and Resources. I'm going to skip achievements and feedback altogether. Achievements is badges. Well, in the words of Jim Belushi, I don't need those stinking badges. uh, you can send badges to people and people can send badges to you and whatnot. I've never paid any attention to that. And I've been doing this for 7 years now. Feedback. People can send you feedback. You can request feedback. I'm not going to click on it. I have a very nice comment in there from one of my club members, but it's private, so I'm going to leave it there. Resources. If you click here, this is a dump of all of the various documents that are available in Pathways. I suggest rather than just looking at the whole thing, go down to categories and select like evaluation resources. So if you're looking for a particular project and you need the eval for it, you can click there. And then now you just look for the name of that project, and there's the evaluation resource. If you're in the middle of or starting a project, let's say you're doing the HPL exercise. Well, you could go to project resources or and click on that, and that'll allow you to download all the project resources associated with doing an HPL. So it's a resources thing. Now that's here. If you click here under my documents, this is a place where you can upload documents. One of the original things they intended with Pathways is that you'd get people to send you your evals electronically and you could upload them and you could just store everything here. I don't bother doing that. You could be my guest. I don't bother. So let's go back to paths and learning. So I'm going to click on engaging humor. Now, the last thing I was in engaging humor was the required exercise for level 4. And you notice we did not go into, if you look here, it says home, engaging humor, level 1, mastering fundamentals. So The last place I was in level four of this, and it drops me back into level one. Um, that I find that a little annoying. I wish it would automatically go back to where I was. Sometimes when you are in the middle of a project, and you leave that project, you'll find a resume button up here, which will take you back to the last project you were working on. But anyway, whenever I get into a project like this, and this was last night, I got into this last night to find out where I was, and I hadn't looked at pathways in months. So the first thing I do is I go up and click on overview right here. So I'm in the engaging humor path. I click on overview. We wait for the screen to populate. Come on. There we go. We need the concentration music. Dun 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 dun. Anyway, so this immediately gives me an overview of the whole path. Level one, level two, level three. Now you notice the green check marks? Green check marks, those are done. I don't have to pay attention to them unless I want to. Level four, if I get rid of this, level four, no green check mark. Level five, no green check mark. I'm in the middle of level four. If I open up level four, okay, I've done the elective, managing online meetings. I need to do the requirement, the power of humor in impromptu speaking. I also need to do the extra requirements. Now, how do you find out about the extra requirements? In each of the levels, there's this thing up front. And I'm going to show you something that annoys me. Level one is referred to as mastering fundamentals. That's all level one. Well, they gave this thing mastering fundamentals. If you click on it, here's what pops up. Mastering fundamentals description. Here's some resources. Ignore those for the time being. Your required projects: icebreaker, writing a speech with purpose, introductions, vocal variety and body language, evaluation and feedback. Those are the exercises you have to do. And underneath that, meeting role requirements that you have to do while working on level one in order to uh, complete the level. And these meeting role requirements are new as of November. And so that's all under there. I'm going to go back up to overview. I'm not even going to go to level one. I want to go up here to overview. What I just showed you is here under level one, mastering fundamentals. If you go to level two and click, there's learning style. Well, that's the title for level two for every path. It's learning style. But you click on that and that does the same thing. It shows you the exercises that are in level two. In my case, because I'm doing engaging humor, know your sense of humor, connect with your audience, introduction to Toastmasters mentoring, but it also talks about what are the roles you have to play and or speeches you have to do. Now let's go down to extra speeches. Yes, question?
Show how to check what they require to
Yes.
say, yes, I was a Toastmaster. Okay.
Yes, I'm going to show you that. I'm going to show you that. So let's look at level four. Now, I cannot let Mark level four complete tonight because I haven't completed the required speech. But, oh, it took me to the checklist rather than, so it jumped ahead of me. Come on. This is interesting. It's not going where I'm telling it to go. It wants to go to the completion section. So I'm going to go back. Anytime I get frustrated, anytime it's not doing what it's telling me to do, I go back and I click on overview. It takes me to the high level and I go back in again. So I clicked here and it took me here. I want to see if I can go in here. Okay. Well, this is annoying because I wanted to show you the page that I wanted to show you the building skills section. It lists the exercises you have to do and the roles you have to play and the speeches you have to do. If you go to the checklist completion one at the bottom of a level, there's this thing like, did you complete the project specifically required by the chosen path? I have not. Have you completed the electives? I have. Have you delivered the presentation from the successful club series? I have. Have you delivered the presentation from the better club series? I have not. That's on my to-do list. I have already been a Toastmaster today, a general evaluator, an evaluator for another member, and I've done one of these other roles. So you check those off. That's all you do. You check them off. And when you go down here to say complete my requirements, if you have failed to check something off, it won't let you do that. So it's a really annoying to me that
Yeah.
I tried, I'm going into the opening thing and it won't let me in. Okay. I'm going to go back up to overview.
Skill?
Yeah, building skills. That's what
Just up there.
was it?
Yeah.
So building skills is here. Okay, building skills. Okay, so this is the page, the top level for level 4. Required project, elective. You have to do something from the Successful Club series. You have to do something from the Better Speaker series. If you go down here, it gives you your options. So Successful Club series, you can choose one of those. Better Speaker series, you can choose one of these. And you can download these things for free from the TI website. And I will tell you what I tell everybody. They have slides, they have a script. Do not read the script to the audience. You can read the script to familiarize yourself with the material, but make the speech your own. If you use the slides and the script as written, you will bore the pants off the audience. You don't want to do that. So you need to take the material and make it your own. I'm in the process of taking the Organize Your Speech from the Better Speaker series and rewriting it to make sense to me. And then I'm going to present it to the club. Okay, I have talked a little about just how to navigate through a path. The thing that most people, I think, worry about how to complete a project and how to mark a level as complete. We'll talk about that in a second. I'm going to jump out of here. I'm just going to click on overview. And one of the single most useful tools, I think, for planning your future pathways work is not on the TI website. I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a second because I want to cut and paste something into the chat. District 4 created a paths and project page when Pathways first came out. And they have kept it up to date. As paths have changed, paths have been added, paths have been taken away. They have kept it up to date. This is a really precious resource. I'm going to show it to you now. So this is the District 4 website, and here's their paths and projects page. And if you went over here, paths and project page, there are 6 paths available currently. Dynamic leadership, engaging humor, motivational strategies, persuasive influence, presentation mastery, visionary communication. When I'm doing an orientation for a new member, I suggest they come here and look at this. Why? Well, I'll tell them. Level 1 is the same for every path. Level 2 is mostly the same for every path. Level 3, a lot of overlap, but not complete. The required project is different. Level 4 and level 5 are where the paths really differ. So if they really want to know what a path is about, they should study level 4 and level 5. What are the exercises that are required versus what are the exercises that are uh, um, electives. The other thing is when I'm planning, let's say I'm doing presentation mastery. So I'm going to click on presentation mastery. Well, here's a description of everything that's required in level one. You have to do these four speeches. Here's the meeting roles you have to play. I'm going to jump up to three. If I'm doing level three of presentation mastery, here's the required speech. Here's my electives I can choose from. I have to do two. And if I scroll down, here's the meeting roles I have to play. And here are my options for Club Success Series speeches. I have to do one of those. So this captures everything I need to do. And now I can sit down and I can make a plan. Oh, I want to finish off level three. Let's say by the end of the year. Oh, well, I have to do this speech and I have to choose two of these speeches and I have to play these roles and I can get myself on the agendas to play those various roles and so forth. And I have to do a successful club series. Which one am I going to do? And I can start working on that. So this is a precious resource for making planning easy. I'm going to stop sharing again because I want to put something in the chat. There's another resource you need. And if you're watching this online, if we've posted it on the Squim YouTube channel, look below the video. I will try to post the documents that are in the chat. I will try to post underneath the video on the YouTube channel. So in the chat is an updated pathways tracking spreadsheet. If you open that up, and I'm not going to open it up now, you can look at it. If you open it up, it has the same information that's on the paths and projects page, only it's in a spreadsheet. And you can record the date when you finish something. You can record the name of the speech you did and the date you did it, and maybe the evaluator, and so forth. So you can keep a record of what you're doing and when you're doing it. Okay, I have talked for almost 20 minutes. I expected it would be 10. Sorry, I got a little long-winded. What would you like to discuss now?
All these various roles and it filled all the roles over and over again. Can you just mark them that they're done? Or they have to be done during the time you do that path?
Okay, so yeah, so the question is, okay, so let's say I'm going to start level three on January 1, and I hope to be done with it by June 30th. If I've played roles before January 1, can they count towards level three? The answer is no. They're supposed to play those roles while you're working that level. Now, is anybody checking those dates? Do they have Pathways TI police coming and checking? You're now a VPE. If you have a really serious VPE, a serious VPE may check, and they can. If you're at Free Toast Toast, they can look and go, what roles did Judy play between this date and that date? And of course, who's to say when you started the path? Did you actually start it on January 1? I mean, the level. Who's to say you started it on January 1 and not December 1st? But, yeah, the ideally you're supposed to play those roles while working on that level.
But you don't have to put in a date.
No, there is no place to put in a date at this time. At this time, it's just a check mark.
You put in a date, I feel like it's the TI police are after you.
Yeah, I know. So right now it's just a check mark. Maybe in the future it might be more robust, But the thing you have to realize is Basecamp, which is on the TI website. The TI website does not talk to Free Toast Toast or to Easy Speak. Those are two independent places and where your information might be, the club where clubs have their websites, and they don't talk to TI.
Yeah.
So, next question.
Pathways and how they have it arranged.
You mean have we worked through a path?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll work through that.
Does anyone want to give their opinion before I do? Okay, no one's jumping. So I've worked through the Competent Communicator Manual at least 10 or 11 times, and I've gone through several of the advanced manuals multiple times. I don't think I went through all the advanced manuals. This is all the legacy system. Um, so I was marinated. I grew up in the legacy system, the manuals. And when Pathways came out, I threw myself into it because I knew I had to. The legacy system was going away. Well, here's my impression. I actually like it. Now, is it perfect? No. Is it as good as the legacy system, especially the competent communicator manual? I think in some ways better. Maybe, there may be a few things missing here and there, but in some ways it's better. So if you look at level one, which I have on my screen right now, icebreaker, right out of the competent communicator. Speaking with a purpose, right out of the competent communicator. Vocal variety and body language. That was two speeches from the competent communicator. Evaluation feedback. This is so much better than we used to do it because you do a speech, you get feedback, you incorporate that feedback, you come back and do the speech again, you get more feedback, then you go and give your very first evaluation, and that evaluation gets evaluated. That is huge. We never did that with the legacy system. That evaluation feedback, I wish we'd been doing that for years because it's a really good project. Now, and it's all about fundamental skills for being in a Toastmaster club. Let's look at level two. Now, I'm looking at engaging humor. If you're looking at presentation mastery or dynamic leadership, it's going to be a little different. But you notice the projects are know your sense of humor, connect with your audience, introduction to mentoring. If you read the description of those, this level two is all about getting to learning about yourself. It's gaining self-awareness. How do you feel? One of the two most common exercises are what's your communication style, what's your leadership style. This is all about learning about yourself and realizing how you operate. And now, because I'm doing engaging humor, they have know your sense of humor. Well, that's how you operate in humor. The point is, that's what level two is all about. Learning about yourself, because that's a fundamental skill before you can move on to the more advanced stuff. Level three is about skill building. And now that it comes into, I'm going to switch over to paths and projects because it'll show you more. I'm on level three. Let's go to presentation. I am in presentation mastery, level three. So you have to do a persuasive speech. That's the requirement. Well, that makes a lot of sense for a presentation mastery. I think 95% of speaking is persuading. I will make that point. I'll make that argument. And then there's all these other things, connecting with your audience, using descriptive language, word pictures, creating effective visual aids, using storytelling, presentation software, how to inspire your audience, making connection through networking, interviewing, so it's talking one-on-one, understanding vocal variety. So it's another vocal variety exercise. Researching and presenting. By the time you've completed level three, you've done all of the things from the original competent communicator manual. So all of those things are covered by the time you're done with level three. So, and then you start moving up into the where I think things really get, I don't want to say really get interesting, really get specialized. That's the word I'm looking for. So for presentation mastery level four, managing a difficult audience. Now, Toastmasters are notoriously friendly, easy to get along with audiences, but we need to practice managing difficult audiences. And then there's bigger projects. And the thing you have to realize in level four and level five is level one, two, and three, the project is the speech. Give this speech. If research and present, maybe you do a little bit of research and give the speech. When you start getting into level four and level five, now there's a project and there's a speech at the end. So, for instance, create a podcast. Well, you have to create a bunch of podcast episodes and you have to publish the podcast, and people have to watch it or listen to it and give you feedback on it. And then you give a speech. um, Public relations. You need to come up with a public relations strategy and talk about it and then, talk about it and then give a speech to the club about how it went. I was doing visionary communicator, and I think it was level 3 was write a communication plan. Well, I was club growth director at the time, so I wrote a communication plan to let the district know about a incentive thing we put in place to help clubs grow. And so I wrote the plan. I gave a speech to the club about the plan. I executed the plan, and then I came back to the club and talked about what went well and what were my lessons learned. So the for level 4 and level 5, they're not just speeches; they are projects, sometimes big, sometimes small, followed by a speech. And you need to get creative about this. And if you have a mentor, this is one of the great things a mentor can help you with. Like, let's say you're thinking about doing online, um, no, manage projects successfully. Let's say you're thinking about doing manage projects successfully. Well, what would be a project? You could plan a club contest. You could just run a meeting. You could take being the Toastmaster meeting as managing a project. You better make it a bang up meeting. It better not just be, better not be a boring meeting. You could plan an area contest. You could do any of those things. And managing projects successfully is a smaller version of an HPL, high performance leadership. So I'm going to switch back to here for a second, changing topics on you. If you want to mark something, I'm going to jump into the power of humor on impromptu speaking, not because you want to know about this project, because I want to show you where do you mark a project complete? Come on. Okay, here we go. When you get into a project, and you always, over here on the left side of the screen, use basically the table of contents for that project, that exercise. And you can scroll down. You notice I'm like halfway through this. And right here is complete your project. So if I click on that, I'm not gonna complete it tonight, uh, but I want to show it to you. That is the place where you would go to mark a project complete. And if you created some things there's a section in the beginning where you create know, wonder, learn. What do I know about this subject? What do I wonder about the subject? What have I learned about the subject at the end? And then you come down here and you talk about the final speech for this topic. What was the title, on what date, presented to what club. Some of you only have one club. I have two. Some of you have 4 or 5. Who is my evaluator? What type of evaluation form did they use? And just a general description. And then you save it. And on the next page, I'm not going to click on save. I haven't entered any of this stuff. But if I saved it, on the next page, you could then click to submit the project as done. Does that make sense? Now let's go back out to overview. As I said, I always go back to overview. Come on. There we go. So we're back out at the overview. Once I complete this impromptu exercise, I can go back into, I clicked on complete, and this is, mark the level complete, and I can come in here, select the club. It won't let me finish this until I go back to that checklist I showed you earlier, and everything is checked off. The primary is checked off, the better speaker series, the successful club series, all those things have to be checked. And then it will let you select the club and click on submit. And now that level is submitted. Okay. Any questions?
So Kyle, after you go and click that for completion, does
Yep.
that automatically go then to the Vice President of Education?
So it automatically gets sent to an email goes out to the president, vice president of education, and secretary.
Okay.
The I have one of those if you want to see it. I have one of those in my Gmail right now. One of my club members submitted one a day or two ago, and I kept it in my inbox so I could show it to you. A member has submitted a completion request. Notice it says support. So one of our club members in the swim club submitted a level 1 in dynamic leadership. And that went to the VPE. And if the VPE is not available, the president or secretary can step in and fulfill the role of approving the level.
Okay.
And I will tell you that it's up to the VPE how much discipline they require, how much research they want to do before they approve a level. If most of the time, I think most Toastmasters act truthfully and honorably, and I would expect a level completion to be truthful. But if I had somebody join a club and then I haven't seen him speak and suddenly they're presenting a level completion, I'd be like, yeah, I'm not sure. I'm going to go check. And I would say no. I have known one or two Toastmasters who fibbed from time to time. So, and the other thing I submitted my level 3 the other day, and when the VPE approved it, I submitted it, the level 3 is done, she approved it, and now I have level approved. So a notice, so they let you know. What else? What other questions can I answer for you? I'm not going to talk about which path you should choose. I will tell you, go to the D4 Paths and Projects sheet and look at levels 3 and level 4, because that's where they really differ. And especially look at the required projects, because those are the things that you have to do in that project if you're going to complete it. And that's where the rubber hits the road. There's a lot of overlap in level 3. There's a ton of overlap between 2, and there's 100% overlap for level 1. If you want to get a DTM, Distinguished Toastmaster, you have to complete 2 paths. And then there's more work. So once you complete 2 paths, you have to do a DTM project, which is some project. It may not have to do anything to do with Toastmasters, but it's a project, decent sized project, leading a team, not just you. It's not like you sitting and doing something. It's leading a team of people to accomplish something. And as I said, it could be outside of Toastmasters. And then you have to come back and give a speech on it. Like for me, I'm a captain in my CERT group, and I planned a live search and rescue exercise in my house. I allowed members to go in and search my house for survivors, supposedly, pulling them out after a earthquake, and and we did it all day, and I got a ton of lessons learned. 60 people went through it, big project, lots of people helping, and at the end, I gave a presentation to the club on how it went and what I learned about it. That's just an example of a DTM project. You also have to either be an area director, division director, one of the, some officer within the district, and you have to charter a club, sponsor a club, mentor a club, coach a club, something like that. So there's work to be done if you want to earn your DTM.
So what happens if you do all 6 of these paths? You just repeat them, but
Yep.
you don't have to buy them again because you have them.
Well, actually, you have to buy them again. You do. If you want to access them on Basecamp, you have to buy them again. It's $20 a path. Now, as I said, I'm working on my second engaging humor. And I'm going to work on engaging humor again because humor is a skill I really want to improve. And it forces me to think about things, not just to present a story, but to present a story and think about how I can do it humorously. Not just to be persuasive, but to be persuasive and do it humorously. I will mention this. If you take the presentation mastery path or any of the leadership paths, Toastmasters teaches communication and leadership skills. So those paths have exercises that will teach you things. I mean, when you learn about vocal variety, if you go into the path and go through the video, they'll have examples of people using vocal variety, good and bad. When you're doing the evaluation and feedback one, I love that because they had a video that shows you good and bad evaluation techniques. When you're doing the engaging humor, Toastmasters does not teach you how to be funny. And the first time I looked at engaging humor and I saw, wait a minute, they're not teaching us anything about being funny. I was like, wait a minute. And then I realized, no, wait a minute. That's good. Because as an organization, Toastmasters does not have a reputation for being funny. Maybe if this was Southwest Airlines, they could teach it. But Toastmasters does not have a reputation for being a funny organization. So they shouldn't teach us how to be funny. But they can put together the exercises where we have to go in and learn it. But you will have to find some of your own sources or find help. And I'm going to put a pitch in for my events club, Laugh Lab Story Masters, because we are helping our members learn humor skills and storytelling skills. And they're things that Toastmasters does not know how to teach. So we're learning that. Anyway, any other questions? Then we're going to call it a night.